Former Governor Terry McAuliffe called it a growing crisis. In just weeks, Virginia students will head back to class. But there are worries there just won't be enough teachers.
13 News Now reporter Adriana De Alba talked to administrators about plans to get teachers in the classrooms.
That's right, and leaders from districts like Portsmouth Public Schools are now traveling to other states to recruit teachers right before classes start.
With the start of school quickly approaching, public schools in Hampton Roads are in a crunch to fill dozens of teaching positions. We reached out to several school districts. Portsmouth is short 48 teachers, Norfolk needs 27, Suffolk is short 20, and Virginia Beach still needs to find 51 teachers before school starts in less than 3 weeks. Scott Ziegler with Portsmouth Public Schools says this year has been especially tough.
There's a lot of competition for the available teachers right now. There's 7 major districts that are very close by that are an easy commute no matter where you live in Hampton Roads area.
That competition leading school leaders to recruit from out of state. Tomorrow, Portsmouth Public Schools is having an interview fair in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. The hope is that these candidates will be willing to make the daily commute to teach in Portsmouth.
The teacher shortage is getting more pronounced across the country, and in Virginia, especially in this area of Virginia, we're finding it very acute and very difficult to get quality applicants who are certified and ready to go into the classroom.
The school district is even offering candidates incentives like paying them $1,000 to move here, another $1,000 in cash advance, and they've even arranged discounted rates toward their rent at certain apartments. If they're unable to fill the vacant positions, their immediate plan is to find long-term substitutes.
But our real hope is to get all these positions filled within the next week.
And you can find more information about tomorrow's interview fair under our links in the news page on 13newsnow.com. Adriana De Alba, 13 News Now.